biggest shift do you think you've seen in how women present themselves now as compared to, pre-COVID and the work that you do?
Well,
Because
I'll
you,
take us back even further. I mean, and this is the same theme, but it's probably a little different. I think, and we're an organisation that's always been flexible because we're about families. We have a lot of women who work for us who have families, so we're about bringing families together, and we've recognised that. So the thing about COVID was we were already working flexibly, and where there were a lot of organisations that had to work out how their teams would work from home, we had already knew that. But if I go back to, when I had my children, um, you kind of needed to not talk about the fact that you were pregnant. And if you ever mentioned that you couldn't have a meeting at that time once you returned to work because you needed to go and breastfeed, that was just met with horror. Don't say that stuff. I don't want to hear that. Even if people were allowing it to happen or in their environment. But what we've changed is, that has changed dramatically, and so it should have, and before COVID. But I think what COVID also did was it. There were a lot of people. I've always believed that people can work from anywhere because I travel a lot. I connect with board members earlier in the morning. Then I might do some work from home. Then I come into the office, or we call it the hub. I can work in an airport lounge, in a hotel, in an office in another state. So why would anyone question anyone that they can't work? You will see the output. But I think there were still team members and managers within Starlight who were wanting to see their team members in the door at 9 and out at 5. COVID has changed that so dramatically, and that's helped women because that means that women don't need to have any of that guilt that sometimes you might have had. I know I had that, oh my goodness, I've got to be in this major meeting at this time, but I want to do tuck shop today. Um, and so you were doing all those things, but kind of hiding one from the other. I think it means it's all really open now, and that's fantastic. It's fantastic for the mothers, the fathers who work for us, for the children and the families, and everyone is achieving their metrics. They're all hitting their targets, so it hasn't changed anything. But we potentially have happier teams. That being the case, I think there's still a need for us to be together a significant amount of our time. So, but it's fine for someone to be in the hub and then leave at 3 because they pick up their child and then go back online at 6 p.m. and do other work from 6 to 8, if that's what suits them. But I think what we can't have is a whole group of people who work from home who are not connected with the other team members. And I think this is important for a number of reasons. And a lot of these people are women, I think. So I heard Danielle Wood, who's the new head of the Productivity Commission, talk about her concern that working from home establishes a ghetto for women. And I think we've got to be really cautious of that because we need to have women. It's great to have this flexibility, but flexibility is a two-way street. And we also need those women sharing their amazing expertise to the next generation of workers in our hubs and offices. We need to have that spark that you get that's sometimes not in a set meeting, but it's in the kitchen or it's walking down a corridor.
A photocopier or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to make sure we still have those moments. And collaborations and innovation sessions all works better with face-to-face contact. Businesses are all about relationships, and relationships, yes, you can maintain them for a certain amount of time by phone or doing something like this, but ultimately it's that face-to-face when you actually sit down with someone. That's when you build those relationships, and businesses are about relationships. So what's changed is people are now accepting of this, but I think we shouldn't let the pendulum go too far, and we need to recognize that we do need to have face-to-face time in a flexible work environment, and flexibility is two ways.
Totally, totally. Well, I know just with the work that I do, Louise, over COVID, there was a lot of this going on. And, business was still happening. But at the time when we were able to have face-to-face time with clients, I had clients flying in from interstate because they knew they could spend time with me to
Yes.
actually do physical wardrobing, physical you know, trying on, coordinating, playing with clothes, you know, because it's very tactile and
Yes.
it's visual. And it was just that connection. It was, you know, being able to eyeball the other person, smile, have a laugh, you
Yeah.
know, the touch, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
because there's a lot of
Because
hands on as well.
what sets us apart as human beings
Mm,
is exactly that.
mm,
The fact that we want to see people, touch people, laugh with people. You know, there's things that you don't necessarily pick up on a video call. For all the value that it does add, and the fact that it can replace many face-to-face meetings, we still need that. So I think we need to get that balance of flexibility is two ways, and we want, and now post-COVID, I think families, it's no longer hidden. It's acceptable that that's something that people need to do, and that it improves their lives. And if that improves their lives, that makes them better team members. So if they can do all that, but I think we still need that, and we don't want to be prescriptive about that. We speak about our offices as a magnet, not mandate.
I think the hardest thing for a lot of people in getting back to the whole face-to-face scenario is logistics. How far are they from the place where they need to travel to have the face-to-face contact? Because I find sometimes that can be, you know, a barrier to actually facilitating that. So people have to get used to the idea that, oh, okay, we want a face-to-face meeting, so I have to allow an hour to travel there and an
Mm.
hour to get back. So how do I make up that time in between? So I think people have found other things to do in that time that they would otherwise have been sitting in the car or on the plane or
Yeah.
they, you know, whatever means of transport they use to get there. So it's an adjustment after COVID. I think
Yeah.
people are just sorting themselves out and trying to find out what it all means to them now and how they're going to get the best results.
Mm. There was one organisation that said they were mandating, and I thought this was interesting because there are people who have percentages and all that kind of stuff. But one was saying all the new people, they're kind of under 2 years, and then all the senior team had to be in because they wanted, it's that transfer of knowledge and learning. And, you know, 70% of learning is on the job. We knew that. And I'm not suggesting at all that you can't learn
Mm.
using technology, but there is also learning that you really only pick up when you are face to face and you see the way people move, act, react, and that's important.